Testing, testing, 1, 2. Do you read me? Whoa. Hey, Nemo. Thanks, dude. All right. Left my drink downstairs. I'll be right back. Okay. Whoa. That's a good example. I guess this is a good example. And if I do this, I can also add the rest of the tiles, finally. And by converting it into a script, I only have to do that in one place. Although I do have to go through and replace everything else with the script. Why am I disconnected from chat? What's going on? Is my internet dead? No. chat is dead. Waypoint instance create. Okay, I'm back. I'm back in chat. I don't know why that's down there instead of being here. But yeah, this one is a bit simpler. It's a lot simpler than the last one we did. I just... Waypoint. What? Okay. Shit. Okay, we can't call it waypoint because that's what we call the variable that stores the waypoints. We're gonna have a big problem if we do that. I think I'll just call it waypoint regular as opposed to waypoint angular. Just a regular waypoint, please. And we're gonna have ID, target, and size or radius, distance. Distance. Oh, no, not ID. Controller, which will contain the ID. And then we do spawn X, spawn Y equals random range cell width times distance. Cell height times distance. Tile. That needs to be a temporary variable. What is 26 and 27, I wonder? If I look at the thing that creates the tile map, I can probably find out. It's in the procgen stuff, I guess. Tile map. I have something somewhere that defines all of the macros. Where is that? Auto cell? Macros. $26 and $27, was it? $29. Can't even see it. Where is it? 26. I don't think it even exists. What the hell is it? We're just checking for some tile that doesn't even exist. Oh, the jank is real. Well, I should just be able to go ahead and drop the extra tiles in finally. Sand, top left, top right, bottom left. Top left, diagonal corner. Is that what that means? I don't even know what it means anymore. Top right, diagonal corner, diagonal connection, something like that. Top left. Wow. TH, what does that stand for? Top left diagonal. Something. It's something. Top right, top. Wait, what? Right, top. What does any of this even mean? Well, I don't know, but all I need to know is that we can spawn waypoints on any of these tiles, I believe. Is that correct? Sand. I might just need to confirm that. I think I have like an image that I made somewhere. Where is that? I'll look back through my old Discord logs to find it. Here it is. Let's download that. Hey, Fish. Thanks, man. Okay. Have a good one. I'll catch you next time. There we go. Okay, I've got some sort of reference here. I think I got the numbers wrong on it, possibly, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At some point they go off the rails, but this hopefully kind of tells me what's what. I mean, if it's sand, sure, yeah, you can stand on it, right? You could, because even if it's like a transition into the water, you can stand in the shallow water at the edge of the map. That's fine. We don't forbid those cells anyway. Well, if we did, you wouldn't be able to stand in them. But we don't. Even if they were forbidden, we could still technically spawn a waypoint there, because you don't actually path directly to the waypoint, you path next to it. Which is kind of odd, because it like doesn't exist. The waypoint doesn't really exist as a physical object in space that would occupy a tile, but it's just because they path to it like they would any other object. That's the reason we use waypoints at all, is because everything's set up to path to objects. So it's not actually set up to just handle coordinates. That would be a more efficient way of doing it. You just give it coordinates to path to, instead of having to spawn objects and destroy them again and keep track of all of that. Oh, okay, well, alright, I think I know what I need to know. Met a West LA girl. Already know what I need to know. Had a steady job. Hauling items for the mob. The pay was pathetic. It's a shame those boys couldn't be more copacetic. Where did this hash come from? Oh, it doesn't select the hash? Interesting. Not very convenient. Yeah, I just couldn't resist heading out on the one wheel today. The weather was pretty nice. I had to go out and take care of some stuff, and as soon as I got a taste of that sunshine, I was like, I can't really go back inside now, can I? So I went out to one of my usual spots by the river. Nice bit of nature. Did a workout as well. It's a lot easier to work out if you do it in nature, because it just feels really good to be in nature. So it's a good motivator. But I'm only doing upper body. I'm doing like mainly arms, a bit of chest, back. Your chest, back, shoulders, arms. Because I think the one wheeling is more than enough for my legs. Absolutely destroyed myself last week. I must have done like 20 to 25 miles a day, 6 or 7 days in a row, something like that. I was wiped out by the end of the week, let me tell you. Yeah. Well, this is nice because, I mean, when you add up all of the transition tiles on the map, there's quite a few of them. So this is giving us a lot more viable spawn locations, so we'll find spawns a lot more easily. But anyway, that's why I started stream a bit late today. But I think it's good because generally I notice that I get better viewership in the evenings anyway. I'm guessing because most of my viewers, most of you guys are from the States, and you're just waking up, kind of. If I really wanted to min-max it, I should be like nocturnal, right? Which I was for many years, actually. But I don't do that anymore. Thankfully. That was mainly just a way of avoiding people. But I have my own place now. I don't need to avoid people. So my sleep quickly fixed itself after I got my own place. They just put my rent up as well. Don't know how I'm gonna. they keep putting all these prices up. I'm not making any additional money from anywhere. Gotta get this game out. Don't want to stay here too long. The dream would be, if the game does well, to move somewhere else. Oh, put these in the wrong place. I can move them at the end. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I really just felt like smoking a bowl today as well, but I'm only really smoking on the weekends. Generally just smoke up before I have a drum sesh. But today's one of those days where it could just be what I need, you know, just what the doctor ordered. But I'm staying strong. Gonna stick to the plan. Yeah. I mean, it's so nice. It's really beneficial in so many ways, but it just fucks up your sleep. That's the problem with THC. You just don't get that deep sleep. You don't get that REM sleep. Actually, deep sleep is something else, isn't it? You don't get that REM sleep if you're on THC. And let me tell you, I need all the sleep I can get. I practically didn't sleep for about 15 years. I don't recommend it if you can avoid that. Grass tuft? Excuse me? Ah, that one appears twice, because I had actually put those ones in. With tuft and rock are there. Okay. I do have a couple of other detail tiles that I just never got around to re-implementing. Like a shell, a seashell, and a starfish that I can like randomly spawn those on the beaches. I used to, I just never got. I did a big overhaul to something. Just about everything's been overhauled at this point, but I was overhauling something and I never put those back in. Forest tuft. Love a good forest tuft. Earth. Yeah, one of the things is there's no elevation. Obviously in this game the maps are completely flat. That would be, I don't even know where I would begin if I was to try and do elevation. Technically there is elevation, but actually making it so that they like can go behind the hill or on top of the hill, I don't even know how you would do that. Oh. We'll save that sort of stuff for the next game where I actually do a 3D game. Well, didn't really need to do that, did I? Could have kept those two. Oh well. Why is there a space there? Because I'm not deleting it. Suppose, yeah, the upside is that we have more viable spawn locations, but the downside is that we have to perform more checks. Not sure how that will impact things. Probably not much. Yeah, the thing that creates the tile map, it still has bugs, but I got it as good as I could. I don't know what's up with it. But it's like, it's 99% working, so I don't know if I can really justify spending the time debugging it now. There's definitely more important things to be doing. But sometimes you'll see like a certain tile won't have been swapped properly or something. You've really got to be looking for it though. I think most people won't notice that stuff. Okay, those are all of the tiles that we can spawn waypoints on. That's good. And so it can't be forbidden. Wait a minute. Why don't we just check for the tiles that we can't spawn it on? instead of... That's definitely a lot faster, isn't it? Why are we not just doing that? Okay, well that was a huge waste of time. What we actually need to do is take all of the ocean tiles, which is far less tiles overall, and just check that we're not spawning on any of those. Okay. So it's like if the tile does equal ocean, then we need to re-roll. It's a smarter way of doing it. Supposedly it's going to be even nicer tomorrow, so definitely going to head out again and make the most of it. Because apparently it's going to get pretty pretty wet and wild towards the end of the week. So that'll be plenty of time for game development when I can't go out anyway. Well, that's definitely a smarter way of doing it, isn't it? That's basically it. So if the tile is forbidden, or if it's any one of these tiles, then we must choose a different spawn location. Which means we need to drop this in here as well. And the X and Y position actually needs to be target X and target Y, because we're going to pass in a target object, which might be the calling instance. But still, we just want to make this kind of like universal or reusable, whichever you prefer. That's basically it. That is it. So if we go back here, instead of doing all of this, we will just run waypoint regular, and we'll do ID 10 in this case. And that is it. Pretty sweet. And then anywhere that I'm spawning waypoints now will just be kind of the same thing, because we already did the angular ones yesterday. Bum, bum, bum. Searching for peyote. Story of my life. Excuse me. Yeah, I suppose you could kind of change the way the pathing stuff works right now so that it attempts to path to the first cell, and then if it can't find a viable path, moves on to the next cell, instead of adding all of the cells to an array at the beginning, because then you might be doing unnecessary work if you add, say, 8 cells to the array or something like that, and then you actually didn't need 7 of them. It's definitely time wasted there, so it would make more sense to do that. There we go. I was going to say, where the hell is the... I don't even bother doing those checks. Really? That's funny. Well... gotta wonder, actually, is there even any reason to check the tile map? No? No, there isn't. Oh, that's even funnier. So we're still doing a bunch of pointless stuff for no reason. I'm pretty sure this is yeah. Whoever wrote this knew what they were doing. One of my rare moments of brilliance. All we need to do is check whether the cell is forbidden or not. Because all the ocean tiles are forbidden. All of the inaccessible land is forbidden. Anything that's not forbidden is fine to path to. It's fine to spawn a waypoint on. Fine to stand on. Walk on. Run across. Huh. Okay, so we can make this even more efficient because we don't actually need to do any of this. There we go. Oh fuck. I forgot about the size, the distance. Different things are supposed to have different distances associated with them, but now they're all just 10. Plus they're all targeting themselves. Jesus Christ. Hold up, I gotta go back through. What's this one? What is this? Okay, right. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was just on autopilot. I actually have to pay attention to what I'm doing. I just have to lock in. This one was a room-wide spawn. But we're no longer doing room-wide spawns anymore, we've decided. This one is for... What is this for? Shaman searching for mushrooms. So they may as well just walk to the... Well, no, it's not going to work like that. There is a bit of an issue with this, actually. It's not. It's probably okay. I mean, the only thing is that like the way that we're gonna do it now, they could spawn the waypoint like right next to themselves, basically. All that would mean is that they wouldn't move, and then they would just spawn another waypoint, which would hopefully be further away the next time. It's fine. It's very good, actually. Well, it's not... Okay, generally speaking, we would want them to move at least some distance. Probably, like, the minimum, if we could add a minimum to this, it would be, like, the edge of their perception radius or something. Because they're looking for something, so it would make sense for them to move to the edge of their perception radius to get a fresh look at stuff. I just don't really want to have 3 different types of waypoint spawning scripts. I'd rather just have the 2, and I'd rather just use this. It's a hell of a lot better than what we're doing now. We can, if we wanted to, we could, you know, take it one step further later on. But I'd say for now, let's just use this, and let's make this like twice their perception. Something like that. Which would actually be more than 60 for Shaman. I think they have a higher perception. It would be more like 90, I think. But it's way better because instead of potentially spawning a waypoint on the other side of the room, or the other side of the map, and having to calculate this really long path to get there, we're just spawning it much closer, and they only have to calculate a much shorter path, which is much better for performance. And the thing is, usually they'll stumble across a mushroom long before they've even gotten like halfway along that path anyway. So it's actually, it's much better for them to generate multiple shorter paths as they continue to search, because probably 75% of that really long path isn't going to be used anyway. The shorter the better, really. I'm almost tempted. I'm kind of tempted to just throw their perception score in there. The only problem is just projecting into the future a bit. The perception score is just a number like 30, and then it's multiplied by the cell width and height or whatever to get the actual perception radius. But that means I'm doing that math all the frickin' time. If I didn't want to do that math all the time, I would just want to do it once and store it. Oh, but I can't really do that for that exact reason, because the X and the Y are different. If you wanted to do it once and store it, you would need to have like perception X and perception Y separately. Yeah, alright, well, this is good enough for now. We're heading in the right direction. It's a big improvement over what we've got. I think it's really probably going to have quite a positive effect on performance already, compared to the performance gain that we would get from like not doing the math repeatedly. So this one is searching for firewood. So just like same again, basically. Any of these ones where they're like searching for a resource, we can just spawn a waypoint within their own perception radius somewhere, basically. Carpenters have default perception of 30. Shaman have 45. I think guards also have 45. Everyone else just has 30. So it will also kind of change depending on which gift they have assigned to them. But then again, some of these actions they can't perform unless they have a certain gift. This one is foraging. Foraging. Same again. This one is gathering firewood during downtime. Same again. Hunters. So this one is going to be for hunting, as you might expect. And this one's slightly different because it's based on the global hunting waypoint, which is like a group waypoint that the hunting party uses to move as a group, as a unit. So instead of passing in ID there, we're going to pass in globule hunting waypoint. Oh, here's another one, the random wandering behavior, which currently they apparently spawn a waypoint within 20 units of themselves. So we'll do of themselves? Really? No, of the obelisk, I was gonna say. Yeah. of the obelisk. Now what you could do, you could take this one step further, because the sphere of influence expands as you unlock the expansion stones, which means that the camp kind of grows. So we could tie it to that, so that they will actually wander anywhere within the sphere of influence, or anywhere within camp, so to speak. But that does result in longer paths. And if we want to avoid longer paths, we should perhaps just keep it to 30. Which is higher than it is right now, even. You know what? I'm just gonna keep it as it is now. Put obelisk in there as the target and 20 as the distance. So they'll just wander around camp within 20 cells of the obelisk. That's great. I'll look at the script one more time, make sure I'm not making any mistakes. Ah, well, we don't even need to get the tile at pixel anymore, because we don't care about tiles at all. That is funny. That is funny. So I think the reason that it was originally like that is because the very early version of the game, I had decided that we can't path to any islands that are disconnected from the mainland, right? So I'll create different tiles for them on the tile map that look identical but have a different ID, so that if they attempt to path somewhere, they'll only path to the tiles that make up the mainland. That was my solution. Originally I thought I was going to actually like design the levels as opposed to procedurally generating them as well. Begs the question as to why even make islands that are disconnected from the mainland? You're sort of just creating a lot of extra work by doing that. But, you know, that's what it is. That's what I did. That's why it was like that. Oh, jeez. So I probably don't need to do any of that stuff with the angular waypoint spawner either, do I? That's kind of hilarious. So the tile, we don't need that. Get rid of all of this. And this. Oh, we can get rid of these debug messages now. Apparently debug messages are actually pretty slow. So you really don't want to leave them in your code, actually. Once you don't need them anymore. Okay, well that's the humans updated to use all of the new stuff. I guess we should try it out. A good test would just be to see if the random wandering behavior is working. Will they kind of randomly wander around camp? If they do, we know it's working. Well, it works, but why do we have all these red lines all over the place? You know, my frame rate, well, I'm not running in test mode or on easy mode. It's not a good test of frame rate, of performance. Let's disable all of that debug stuff. Okay. Yeah, this will be a really nice change. The furthest pathing the humans will ever do is if there's like the worshippers need to reach a shrine that's really far away, or if the hunters spawn a hunting waypoint really far away. But we could even modify the thing that spawns the hunting waypoints so that they don't spawn as far away. It's still getting about the same frame rate. Kind of funny, it doesn't really matter what I do. I can't seem to get a higher frame rate at this point. I've done all the major stuff, so it makes sense. But yeah, everything seems to be working. The hunters are hunting, etc. Yeah, the real problem is when you run the game at 8 times speed. That's where you can get some pretty nasty lag spikes and stuff. But yeah, it seems to be working beautifully. Okay. So, next up, we just gotta do the same for all of the other animals. Although it's actually the obelisk that spawns the hunting waypoints, if you can believe that. Might just change that as well. Yep. Right. The only problem with this being that it doesn't actually spit it out into a... The best way to do it would be to use a return, right? Return, that would be smart. I am going to have to change everything again, but it's not too bad. Super useful though. So instead of doing waypoint equals, we would do return. How does return work again? Can you give me like an example of that? return. Yeah, I don't think you even need to use equals. You just put return and then what you want it to return. So I would just do like return instance create depth. And same for the other one. Return. And then I'm just going to go through everything. Oh, there are actually, I should probably do those before I move on. Actually, yeah. There are some waypoint spawns in some states as well as the ones in the state condition script here. So, oh god, it's really hard to spot them now, so I've got to do a search. Waypoint. Well, we'll go through all the regular ones first. So I would actually do target equals waypoint regular, and then it just creates the waypoint and assigns it directly to be their target. Nice. Kind of makes the waypoint variable redundant. I think we might. I just want to be careful about that because we might actually use the waypoint variable in saving and loading. I'm not 100%, so I'd just to be on the safe side, I'll do it like that. So really, I just want to go through them all and stick waypoint equals on the front of them. Nice, and waypoint angular. Hey Fish, welcome back. How's it going? That's all of them. And then, yeah, I'll go through and do the ones in the state code itself. Search for waypoint, basically anywhere that waypoint shows up. Oh, that's also a good point, because we need to be able to destroy the waypoints as well. Although you can always, I mean, it could just be a bit problematic if that target gets like disconnected from the waypoint and then I no longer have any way of referencing that waypoint anymore. By keeping it in a separate variable, we can always just instance destroy waypoint to get rid of them, to clean them up. So what's this one? This is so the continuation of like the shrooming, the hunting for mushrooms. Welcome back. How's it going? So how did I do that one? All right. Waypoint regular ID perception is what I'm pretty sure it was. Would be nice, right? What are you doing for work these days? Foraging is the same. Demolition, okay. This one is also the same. So is this one. Holy. Big job then. Oh, and here's the waypoint. Sorry, the fleeing stuff. Right. This is the worst one. So this will just be waypoint angular ID, and then the angle is nearest predator angle. Nice change of pace. Don't know why we have two of these, but I'm just gonna... Ah, it's if the nearest predator changes. Yeah, but do I actually... What is this? I don't actually know what this is. Why do we have two of these? Update target to nearest guard. So this one is just if you reach the waypoint, we need to spawn a new waypoint, of course. This is if you need to switch target to a guard instead of the waypoint. And this is... This is like if you're targeting a guard and then the guard no longer exists. Well, that doesn't work because they even if they're dead, they technically still exist. It's going. I'm just I'm just refactoring a lot of code for very minimal results, really. It is good to do it, but it's not like I'm gaining tons of performance or anything. So it just kind of feels like I'm just doing it. It's nicer to look at. It's more elegant code, but it's not actually making a huge difference performance-wise. I suppose it all adds up. Yeah, this it's kind of... My understanding is correct. This is like... I'm not even really sure what this is for. Flee to waypoint if danger is not targeting me and there is a guard. That's not how it works though anymore. This might be some old stuff that we don't even really do anymore. That's just kind of left over here. I'm pretty sure I simplified it way down at one point where I was like, look, if there's a guard on the map, we just flee to the guard. Whereas at one stage it was more complicated, like you flee to the guard if you're the one being targeted. However, if there's a threat in range but you're not being targeted directly, you just flee to a waypoint, as in you run away. But then I was like, no, let's just make it simple. But then maybe this is just kind of left over. Oh no, there is something like that here still. So you flee to the guard if the guard exists and you're the one being targeted. Sure. You flee... You just run. Oh, interesting. Well, it kind of explains their behavior, maybe. Why they weren't running to guards is because I'm telling them not to do that. So if the guard exists but you're not being targeted directly, then you flee to a waypoint instead. Yeah, it does make sense. Oh yeah. Because the behavior would be weird. Like, you know, there's some sort of predator in range and they all like clump to the guard. It just looks weird. In a sense, they're getting closer to danger because they're all moving to the hotspot. Whereas it's like the one who's specifically being attacked, he's got to get aid, whereas everyone else wants to be like out of danger. And then if no guard exists, then you have no other choice but to flee to a waypoint. And then there's some additional rules for like shaman and drummers and stuff. It's just slightly different, and hunters as well. But I think we got the basics. So what does that mean for this code? Right. So if you were fleeing to a guard, I think is what this means. Maybe. Yeah, but there is no instance exists guard check there. That's actually incorrect. It's a real brain teaser at times. The carpenters have some of the most complex code. They're the real MVPs. That was pretty hard to wrap my head around that stuff. But it's one of the things that I enjoy the most, like the autonomy, the automation. The AI programming, if you will. It's my favorite stuff. Yeah, so the thing is, this is actually missing a check where we should be checking that nearest guard actually exists. So what do these other ones do again? That one's just if you reach the waypoint. This one, switch targets to the guard if you are being... so instance exists target. Not sure why that's necessary. It's not. Get rid of that. So nearest predator exists. Nearest predator.target exists? Why does that matter? That's because purely because we're going to reference it here. If we were to reference that without first checking it exists, it could crash the game if it didn't exist. Instance exists nearest guard. And then the nearest predator starts targeting me, but I'm not already targeting the nearest guard. Then I need to switch targets to the nearest guard. And then this one, nearest guard exists, nearest predator exists, nearest predator target exists, nearest predator is not targeting me, and I am not targeting a waypoint already. Or the guard does not exist, and I'm not targeting a waypoint. Now this is the... Sure, you... I just think what we need here is... It's not so much whether the nearest god exists, it's whether they're alive. So let's add an extra one. Sure, we can handle for this very rare eventuality. It's still good to handle for it, but if nearest god exists and nearest god dot state equals, well, it's also a human, so I can just do state death. Okay, just need some extra brackets. Or nearest god dot state equals state harvested, which we never actually use. It shows up in 1,000 different places, but it's purely future proofing because the humans can't actually be harvested. But if I ever decide to make it so the animals can eat the humans one day, I would need that. Although we probably never will, because the humans actually just turn into gravestones when they die, like worms. You'll regret that. I think that's basically it. Or if the player was to pick them up, like if you were running to a guard for help and then the player picked them up, they wouldn't be much use to you. So nearest guard state held would be another one. What if they were on fire? They're also not going to be very helpful. Let's check the tracker. I'm assuming we don't class guards that are on fire as like the nearest guard, because they ain't going to be helping you. Correct. So this is another thing. We need to... So, let me just reformat this a little bit. So, if the nearest guard exists but is set on fire or held by the player or dead, and I'm not targeting a waypoint already, then we want to spawn a waypoint and switch targets to it. Oh shit, I forgot to do waypoint equals, there we go. That could have been a disaster. Alright, I think that's all good. It's really helpful to look at like 2-year-old code and realize that it's all completely wrong, isn't it? It's amazing. It's amazing any of this has even been working. Oh, here's one. Okay, burn it. Right, yeah, this is just they run around like headless chickens when on fire. So delete this. Waypoint equals. This is my first, well, except for when I've like kind of copied it from a tutorial that I've been working from or something, or had some help from somebody. It's the first time that I've ever actually decided to use return for its intended purpose, or just ever, in fact, thinking about it. Really nice, really useful to be able to do that. I kind of have a pretty solid grasp on functions, finally. Boom. That's so useful when once you get it down, for sure. Yeah. And structs and constructors, those are still a bit of a mystery to me. But I've started dabbling with them recently. But it's like, once you know how to use constructors and structs and functions, it's like your code just looks completely different. And you can be really smart about how you're setting things up, and then the way that you're like writing stuff just becomes so much more elegant. It's amazing. There's a lot of stuff in here though, because I really had no idea what I was doing when I started out. That needs well, it doesn't need refactoring. It would be nice to refactor, but it's like it's so much now that I don't know if I'll actually be able to do it. Because I kept going back and forth on it, like, yeah, I think I'll refactor the creatures. Oh no, that's going to be way too much work. Oh wait, no, I think I can do it. No, it's actually too much. And eventually I landed on it's probably too much because of how many other systems depend on things working the way they do now. Even though it's not ideal, I would just have to update so many other. It would cause this massive chain reaction where I'd be like rewriting the entire game, you know. Slight exaggeration, but not far off. Okay, let's go through the state conditions scripts. Here we go. Alright, dude, catch you in a bit. Interesting. They both have cell width for some reason. That's one way of doing it, I suppose. This one's burning again. So it's the same dealio, basically. Waypoint regular ID 10. Beautiful. Hibernation. Ooh, hibernation. Hibernation is almost like a unique use case where we would actually want to restrict them to certain tiles on the tile map. So we might actually want to basically. Just have like custom code here for this. Because we don't want to have to like modify the script. It would be more reusable, as Brewer would say. It'd be more universally compatible, but it would mean that like every time, 99% of the time that the script was being called, or the function, sorry, I should say function, the function is being called, it would be doing some sort of check to determine that this is this a bear that's hibernating? No. Okay, well let's just do regular waypoint spawning then. So that's just like extra work that it has to do every single time. So we might indeed be better just kind of modifying this slightly. Where the hell's the damn bear code gone? I'm completely lost. I'm not even in the bear code, I'm in the bear condition script. There we go. Ooh, that could be bad actually. I should probably rename that from target, because there is a variable called target, right? This is going to be bad. Actually, it's been working, hasn't it, so far? It's been working. I think just, yeah, let's just be careful. I don't know what else to call it. Object. That's definitely safer. I could see that causing some issues. Cell width times 60 is probably fine. Okay. Origin. Waypoint equals waypoint regular ID perception. Cubs wandering around their mother. 30, they usually have a range of 30 on there. I believe that number is important for some reason. I forget, we had some bug. It has to be 30. If I change it, I also have to change something else somewhere else, and I don't know what it is anymore. I think the bears have a perception of 30 though, so perception would be fine. Just double check that. They have a perception of 50. Jesus, okay. Interesting. Well, I guess we're going to put 30 in. Wandering. Same again. Okay. I think I did all of the angular ones yesterday, didn't I? That's why. And the thing is, I'm only setting the max distance, so yeah, it could be right next to them. That's one of the weird things about it. But it could have been before. True. Just because we're spawning it anywhere within the room doesn't mean that that's not going to spawn right on top of where they're already standing. So it's the same, in a way. The same but better. This is another, like, custom one. Basically, we do actually need to check the tiles in this case. What is 25 grass tuft? And 29 forest tuft. Okay. True. I mean, the problem with this is that they're not actually going to path directly to the waypoint. They're going to path next to it. And the tile next to it might not actually be grass. So, this is not ideal. It's fine. Well, it's not fine, actually. But it's good enough. 26 and 20. I don't even know what those are. I don't think they exist. Not grass. Not sand. Sand. Why is sand there? They can't eat sand. Basically, it should just be these again. Also, I should be storing it in a temporary variable. Shouldn't I? Whoops. I'm just going to leave it for now, mainly because of this bit. It's like, I would have to put it outside of here. So, every time they're running the state condition script would be... Well, actually, it's still better than doing this. No, we are going to do it. Just realized I made a mistake here. Oh, that would explain it, wouldn't it? I think something to do with that. That's supposed to be mother. There we go. Same with this one. These ones don't seem to have that range check there, which would just mean they would do it anyway, even if they were. Huh, I don't actually get that. It's like they can only do the wandering behavior if they're already in range. Not sure why it's like that. Migration. This one is herd.waypoint.x. Well, it will just be herd.waypoint. Not sure what the deer's perception score is, but actually 45, okay. Yeah, I think I will drop that. Yeah, I'll drop it down a bit. I've actually seen deer, herds of deer, and they do group up quite close together. What am I looking at? Oh. We'll drop it down to 30. The real important part is going to be making sure that the herd waypoint doesn't spawn too far away, because that's a big one. You've got an entire herd of deer migrating across the map. That's like 7 to 9 creatures all calculating pathing at the same time. And if they have to go a really long distance, those are some really long paths they have to calculate. So we just want to make sure that that herd waypoint is quite close. Still far enough to get them to move around the map a good amount, but not far enough to where we're causing performance issues. And this one is the same, but herd instead of ID. But where's the rest of it gone? Very cool. Very cool indeed. Burning. 10. That was an easy one. Moose conditions. I keep updating this even though moose aren't even in the game yet, and I might just wind up deleting this whole script and building it from scratch, because I don't know how up to date it is anymore, really. Oh. What is this? Oh, I didn't actually update this yesterday. Oh. Nearest threat angle. That's it, isn't it? There is no distance on this one. Where do we actually get? I think we wind up using. We do ultimately use perception and the aggro. I've got to be careful with that. I mean, obviously, every creature is going to have a perception radius and a de-aggro radius, so we're okay. But that's what it uses. So if I ever tried to run this particular pathing script on something that didn't have those, we'd have problems. Something like that, I think. Wait, target equals? Oh, I screwed up. I don't know, I'm just throwing a random number in there. I mean, could just be perception. I don't know what a moose's perception score is. Oh, not this again. Good lord. Why am I even doing this? There are no moose in the game. This is basically exactly the same as the deer, really, isn't it? Just... What was it called? Search. Search. Bit of a vague name. Should be called State Grass. Good lord. Yeah, still looks really messy. I'm just not used to... I mean, I'm used to the new functions, which look super clean. The moose even live in herds? Oh yeah, they definitely do, don't they? Some. I don't know if all species of moose live in herds. But definitely some of them live in massive herds, like hundreds, if not thousands of moose. Okay. Another one of these sons of bitches. Maybe I can just copy it from the deer again. I think so. Oh, Jesus Christ. Suckling timer, and there's some specific stuff to do with the time of day, because grass only eats at a certain time of day. Rabbits only eat grass at a certain time of day. Seriously. So the rabbits had never been updated. What's 25? Wow. So the rabbits couldn't even like eat the grass in the forest this whole time. They could only eat the grass on the plains. So if you're in a forest map, they would be limited to a very small area of the map where they could actually nibble on some grass. Deer water, that's a problem. That's a problem. Didn't think about that. God damn it. I do. I thought I didn't have it. Yep. Alright, that should be good. Crazy. That's crazy how out of date a lot of this code is. Oh, really? The rabbits apparently have a little bit of a larger wandering radius than most other creatures. Why is that? Who knows? I'll probably just bring it in line with everything else now, as soon as the whole idea is to try and reduce the distances. It's called rabbit hop speed? What the fuck is rabbit walk speed then? Is that not a thing? What's the difference between hopping and walking? They do have a walk speed. Is hopping the equivalent of running when you're a rabbit? Maybe? I have no idea. Can I find out what these different speeds are? Hop speed is 1, walk speed is 2, and run speed is 4. Okay, so they just have a very slow, like, wandering speed. I see. I think it was to give them that sort of feeling, you know, the rabbits, they kind of like, they'll take like a couple of little hops and then they'll just be chilling. Then maybe an extra little hop. So they don't move a lot when they've not really got anywhere to be, you know. I think that was the idea with the hop speed being so low. Boom. All right. No, there's still the wolves to do. Thought we were done for a second. They will. Oh, yep. That's exactly what I was talking about. So in this case, pack.waypoint is what we need to pass in, and really 5. Wow, that's low. I might actually bump that up to 10. Okay. Yeah, there is stealth mechanics in the game, and like things like make a stealth check, and other things have a wisdom score and all that stuff. But I can't even remember if it's enabled right now or if I just totally disabled it for the time being. I don't know. But it's there. It's ready to go when we eventually decide to do something with it. It's pack.waypoint, isn't it? Pack.waypoint. Beautiful. I'm just going to close a window. I'll probably be absolutely gagging for air in about 5 minutes. It always happens. So it's too cold. I'll close a window and then I'm melting. 5 seconds later, it doesn't even make sense. What is this? Wandering? They also have. Is this wandering? This is wandering. That's why it's called wandering. But there is also a wandering behavior when they're guarding. But I think that might be in the state itself. Yeah, it is. We're going to have to go through all that stuff next, so... Yep, that's correct. Okay, well that's all of those done. And now we've got to do these. My God. Waypoint equals waypoint angular. Oh, what's the name of the thing? It's going to be nearest threat angle, yes. ID nearest threat angle. Boom. Looks like that's the only one. Boxes. Oh my god. Yeah, this is, the foxes also have a guarding behavior. This is what I'm talking about right here. Don't know why we're using the wrong sprite. Pack X, pack Y. This is going to get weird. I actually need to use the pack object, the instance itself, because we need to be able to pass in an object. Good point, actually. We don't center up on the thing. Usually that's not an issue. But for something that's larger than one tile, it's not, I wouldn't call it an issue, but it will be offset because the origin point is in the bottom left corner, it's not in the middle. It's a minor detail for sure. But this one needs to be like... Waypoint equals waypoint regular ID pack 10, was it? What was the number? 10. Ooh, squeeze me? What's this doing here? Path end, path of guard timer. That. Don't think we need that stuff, and I'm guessing the other half of this is in the sleep state. No? How does this work? Has this been working? The freaking global wait list. What? What? We never. That's insane, dude. Talk about ancient code. It's like a lost civilization. We haven't used the global wait list in at least 1 billion years. The funny thing is that we add them to it and never remove them from it again. we just keep adding them to this damn list for no reason. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to strip that out. I don't think it's in any of the other creatures. I mean, well, the only ones that it could possibly be in would be the wolves. We haven't got there yet. That's next. Okay, well, I've got to strip this out. Holy. Well, if I can get to the point where there are no more references to global weight anywhere in the code, then I can just get rid of it completely. Not even create that list anymore. Wow. Yeah. It was an attempt to solve something at one stage when my understanding of programming was far less than it is now. Oh, I guess we were deleting them actually from it there. It's in this state before we transition to this state. I could drink that coconut water. I'm just gonna go grab it. Ooh, nothing's gonna bring him back. 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 He's gone for good now. Ooh, nothing's gonna bring him back. 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 I don't know how this hasn't been throwing errors, to be honest with you. It's kind of concerning. Kind of means that maybe some rogue waypoint exists out there somewhere. Ooh, nothing's gonna bring him back. 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 Da, 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 da. Ooh, nothing's gonna bring him back. 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 Ooh, nothing's Nothing's gonna bring him back. Ooh, 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 nothing's gonna bring him back. Nothing to do with waypoints in here. Are you kidding me? Nothing? Oh, I typed it wrong. That makes more sense. Typed weight wrong as well. Jesus Christ. Okay. Guess we don't use that for these guys. Nothing's gonna bring him back. Ooh, 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 nothing's gonna bring him back. That's an interesting way of doing it. I don't think I did it that way anywhere else. What's the point in this then? If target, no, hold on. If target does not equal waypoint. This is a weird one. I'm not sure what's going on here because we have this twice. So one is for when they first show up. Why don't the foxes have that then? Well, we've seen how out of date the fox code is. These poor neglected foxes. I mean, the simplest way of doing it would be just to... where on earth does the guard timer even get incremented? It's in the step event. That would be pretty insane, because we only need to do it when we're actually guarding. You gotta be kidding me. That's crazy. And the wolves? Same. Wow. Alright. Bit strange. Bit strange. Yeah, this is a bit ridiculous. I think we can do better than this. Ooh, nothing's gonna bring him back. True, actually true. I mean, we can guarantee that it does exist, really, but always better safe than sorry. Oh, it's there. It's there. We are checking that pack exists. Yeah, because I mean, the kind of obvious thing to do to get it to trigger immediately is to set guard timer to 0 when they enter that state, right? Yeah, the timer should definitely be running in here instead of. I think I'll do that now. I mean, that is completely unnecessary now, isn't it? We just we just want to count down the guard timer. And then if it's less than 0, it'll just get reset. That's it. It's really stuck in my head now. I can't stop dancing. Oh, Jesus Christ. Not again. I can't believe this is still in here. Hope I'm not going to break anything. I mean, I don't think so. I don't think so. The humans haven't used it for a really long time, and they used to use the waitlist. Okay. Okay, I do believe we're all good there. So these guys are probably just going to have fleeing. Oh my god, what's going on here? Right, so we do need them to return to idle when they actually reach the correct tile. I think these are basically going to correlate to grass. There's one grass tuft, 25 forest, 29
Toasty.
Forest tuft, 34. That was 34. Yeah. Loading up my dashboard. Hello there, Jasper 12A. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? That's completely insane, right? We can only get in this state if we're on one of these tiles. What am I expecting to happen? The tile map's magically going to change? That's completely redundant. We can get rid of that. Ridiculous. Okay. The rabbits are going to want the same thing. I'm tempted to just do it now while I'm in the neighborhood. Oh my god. These poor creatures. It's the same as before. They've not been able to eat the grass in the forest this whole time. God. They get reported for animal abuse. These poor little cubes. There is one issue somewhere still with the sprites of the fawns not updating correctly, and you sometimes see a sleeping fawn just whizzing across the map. And I don't know what's causing that. I have no idea. Alright, get your head in the game. Focus up. What is any of this shit? Oh, here we go. Fleeing, yeah. I don't know how this hasn't been... It kind of concerns me that this hasn't been causing issues. Oh, because... Oh! There's always a waypoint when we're in the fleeing state, because we spawn one before we even enter the state. Yeah. Point. So it is a redundant check, really. I mean, we could probably... We could probably get rid of those. It's a gamble. It's not a gamble. But it's a gamble. A path position greater than or equal to 1. Well, the thing that they're pathing to is a waypoint, so it definitely exists. And if it didn't... Oh. Wait, no, actually. Normally there's a thing in here that will return them to idle if their target doesn't exist, but apparently we don't have that for this one. Can the... No, they can. Yeah, yeah. The bears can flee. Oh, they can flee. Oh, I see. Yeah, this one's... Alright. Alrighty then. What is this even supposed to be? Oh, well, it used to be the room size, so now we're just doing like perception generally. I don't know if I've done all of them, like the last few correctly. I kind of zoned out. Let's just hope so. Okay, that looks good. On to the rabbits. Oh, I did the wrong one. Whoops. That's what we want. Okay, and that's probably it. That is it. All right, everything is now using the new waypoint functions, new waypoint spawning functions. which are a hell of a lot better than the old system. Hopefully I've done everything correctly there, and I hope I didn't break anything by removing this global waitlist thing. Probably not. Very unlikely. Portal. Yeah, I know, it makes sense. Human end step. Human create. What is this? No way. There's still a reference to it in here. They're all deletes though. There's no ads. We're never actually adding them to this list, but we're checking if we should delete them from it. Crazy. Nope. Is that it? Thought it was more than that. Oh, each one had 2 or more references to it, didn't it? Human end step. Sure, let's get rid of those. That was it. And controller cleanup, controller key press delete. Yeah. Okay, we don't need to save and load that anymore. Or what was I doing? Oh, this is deleting. And lastly, we just don't create the list in the first place. Beautiful. Well, that's nice. That is some ancient detritus exterminated, finally. Okay. Sweet. So everything's been converted to our new beautiful waypoint spawning scripts. And whenever I need to change anything about waypoint spawning, I just have to do it here instead of in 1,000 different places. Amazing. Yeah, I'm pretty convinced that most of the performance issues are actually because I'm streaming and encoding with my CPU. So probably most streamers will be fine, as long as they're encoding with their GPU. Oof, it's those kinds of lag spikes that... But it's like, no matter what I do, I can't seem to eliminate them. I think it might be completely unrelated to the game, really. I think it might be because I'm streaming. You're just gonna leave that there? Okay. He'll go back for it. Let's see. Let's watch. He'll go back. Where's he going? I'm getting concerned. What are you doing? Oh, he's building the tent. Now he's gonna go back. Okay. They prioritize building over selling. Oh, it's raining. We could use some shelters. There's so many deer, it's unbelievable. Maybe we have too many. I don't know, it's just like they've all clumped up in this one corner of the map. Ooh, frame rate has dropped a good like 20 FPS. Is that because it's raining? Maybe it's all of the particles. I did think about possibly reducing the number of particles, but at the same time it does look good. Oh, we're back up to 120 and it's still, well, it's because I zoomed in. No, it has stopped raining and we're still at like 100. Oh, it's raining again. Holy shit, look how spread out these guys are. That's not right. They're not supposed to be quite so spread out. I think I know what I've done. Yeah. Okay, I'll go fix that. Yep, that'll do it. There we go. Because instead of wandering around the wolf den, they were like wandering around themselves, if that makes sense. They could wander over here and then keep wandering further and further away. Hmm? Are you telling me the foxes don't have a wandering state? What the hell are they doing with their time? They're not wandering. They don't have a wandering behavior. That's crazy. What do they do in the night then? They just stand there? Maybe. Wait, what? Why are they just standing there? I feel like I messed something up. Oh. Oh, I see the problem. It's nothing to do with the script. Look, Waypoint equals, there we go. Whoops. Yeah. Scary stuff, making changes. It's a good way to break everything. And then what about in the actual state itself? That one's correct. Oh, good job I checked. Get rid of that as well. Man. These are all the ones that I did yesterday, so I was obviously... Well, it's true, I only really figured out that I should keep the waypoint variable today. Alright, that's fixed. Let's see what these foxes are doing. I feel like they should probably have a wandering behavior. A bit weird if they didn't. Oh, interesting. The fact that those wolves all started going back immediately after loading the save tells me that we don't actually save and load the wandering timer. So it got reset to 0. There was a fox. There's a fox. Need to fast forward till nighttime and see what they actually do. I guess they just stand there menacingly. Those foxholes look tiny compared to these giant orange cubes. They're going somewhere. I don't know what they're doing. Hunting, maybe? Maybe drinking from the stream. Oh, I don't know, something spooked them. Oh, the other Okay, right. The other foxes, that's right. Foxes will fight for territory with other foxes. But of course they're really dumb, so they keep wanting to go back over there. No, don't do it. Yeah, the fact that these guys are just standing here and never actually, like, leaving, that's weird. That's because they don't have a wandering behavior. Normally, the wandering behavior would kick in and make them go back to the den or something. So it is actually kind of crucial for more than just making them kind of look good. It does serve a practical purpose. So yeah, we want to give the we definitely want to give the foxes the ability to wander in the same way that the wolves can, basically. Oh, well, they have the state. They have the state, they just don't. The hell? Crazy. Alright, well, there we go. And that would be fox. Stalk speed? Why am I using stalk speed for wandering? I guess I must have just felt like they were moving too fast when they were walking at regular speed. Is there a fox stalk speed? There must be, yeah. Could try that. Give it a go. Walk time, everything else I think is fine. Pretty sure it is called pack still, yeah. Okay, so the foxes now have the ability to wander as well. That's pretty nice. Okay, I'll be right back. 2 seconds. Alright, that's pretty sweet. That's pretty much everything I set out to do today. I guess I'm going to call it a night, actually. It's getting pretty late. A bit of a late start today, so... let's find somebody to raid, and I'll probably be back again for another short late stream tomorrow. But then the weather gets pretty bad towards the end of the week here, so I'll definitely be streaming more for the latter half of this week. Hamster Hammer working on his turn-based CRPG. Jimmy McGinger is he's working on his roguelike. Been a while since I've raided Jimmy. Yeah, we'll raid Jimmy. See what he's up to. I believe he raided me recently and I haven't returned the favor, so let's do that. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.